Wow. Happy Super Tuesday. I guess, can you say that? Is that the right thing to say? Probably not. It's already been crazy. Super Tuesday, here on the West Coast at least, just started. It's not even noon yet out here. And wow, there are tornadoes in Tennessee. There is a way that they might be able to purge a bunch of Bernie votes from California. There have been polling stations in the Los Angeles area where all the machines are down, so they're giving people provisional ballots, which means your vote ain't going to be counted. And it's not even noon. And here's a quick refresher on everything that's going on here in California with our elections, how they could potentially steal a lot of votes from Bernie Sanders, potentially. And here we have Greg Palast to tell us more. Check out this video.
Think California, and you think of laid-back surfer dudes, palm trees, vegan taco trucks, and progressive politics.
Do you really, though? That last one, progressive politics, compared to where? I guess if you move from Mississippi to California, you're like, oh, yeah, the progressive politics happens here. But anyway, I don't know if I'd go there. But yeah, I guess compared to, anyway, you get the idea. All right.
This is Greg Palast in Los Angeles. Will California's strange primary rules steal the big win from Bernie Sanders? Last month, the Golden State sent out 3,715,369 ballots with no presidential candidates. Most at risk, young voters and Latinx voters, the core supporters of Tio Bernie. The result, 553,000 Bernie Sanders supporters are at risk of losing their right to vote for their candidate. How did this happen? While California votes solidly Democratic in general elections, a huge 5 million Californians register independent, marked NPP, for no party preference. These NPP legal voters have the legal right to vote in the Democratic primary. But good luck trying. Many will lose their right. How? Last autumn, the state mailed all 5 million independents a postcard telling them they can ask for a Democratic ballot. Looks like junk mail. Only 1 in 11 returned the cards.
So that's what they sent these people. They sent NPP voters a ballot that didn't have the presidential candidate on it. When I went and knocked doors for Bernie, when I canvassed for Bernie, one of the things we did was we wanted to make sure people had Bernie Sanders on their ballot. That was our biggest, the biggest thing on our agenda was, are you registered Democrat or are you registered NPP? If you're registered NPP, let's take a look at your ballot. Make sure Bernie Sanders is on it. If he's not, this is what you have to do. And again, people got this postcard, and as you see, only 1 in 11 actually returned it.
Because students move a lot. Less than 5% of 18 to 24-year-olds get and return the cards. Likewise, only 5% of Latinx voters return the card. Statistician Paul Mitchell calls this disenfranchisement by postcard. Mitchell is vice president of Political Data, Inc., the experts used by both political parties. Mitchell polled these NPP voters and found over 2 million want to exercise their right to vote in the Democratic primary, but could lose their right because they're clueless how to get a Democratic primary ballot. Up to 86% of independents who want to vote in the Democratic primary could be locked out. Not only is Sanders likely to lose 500,000 votes, so is another favorite of independents, Michael Bloomberg. He could lose 382,000 votes. Independents can save their vote by bringing in their NPP ballots into the polling station and exchange it for a Democratic ballot, but not a regular ballot, only something called a crossover Democratic ballot. But you must know the magic word crossover. Jen Abreu was a poll worker.
They have to specifically then ask, I would like to have a Democratic crossover ballot. And those were the words that were told to us in our poll worker training. And if this NPP voter did not specifically ask for a Democratic crossover ballot, they were given an official NPP ballot, which did not list presidential candidates on there.
But the Democratic Party rules say the poll worker cannot help the voter who does not know the magic word crossover.
And I am unable to ask you Are you sure you want an NPP ballot?
Who's behind this mass vote suppression by postcard and secret word? It was crafted by the Democratic National Committee and enforced by California's Democratic Secretary of State, this man, Alex Padilla. Who benefits from this system? Candidate Joe Biden, who is endorsed by Alex Padilla. In Los Angeles, this is Greg Palast.
So I'm going to put on my Captain Obvious hat right here. You realize this is voter suppression. This is pure. You have to say the magic word. You have to say crossover ballot. And by the way, poll worker, if they don't say crossover ballot, you can't help them. If they just say Democratic ballot, you're like, oh, well, you can't. You don't get a Democratic ballot. You're an MPP voter. And they sent out this postcard that they knew people likely wouldn't notice. Why wouldn't that be inside the NPP ballot? Why wouldn't they just, when you send someone their ballot and you think they might want to vote in the Democratic primary, they might want to vote for president, why wouldn't that postcard be in there and says, by the way, because you're MPP, you don't have a president on here, but if you want to vote for president, here's what you do. You can get this ballot. If they really wanted people, instead they send it separately. And again, as Greg Palast pointed out in the video, a lot of college kids, they move around a lot. They might not have ever gotten it. A lot of people might not have known what it was. This is on purpose. And then you need to say the magic words. It's like, oh, you can vote for president, but first you have to cross this moat, solve a riddle, know the magic word, knock on the door 3 times, do 4 cartwheels, and then we'll give you this provisional ballot. It's unbelievable. And here's another video to just drive this point home. My buddy Ted Alexandro shared this with me. Ted Alexandro, comedian, very funny dude. And this is some more Palast, but this is just a friendly reminder to everyone in California. Just a friendly reminder. Check this out.
Democratic
Right.
on it, Democratic, official Democratic ballot.
Right.
And the other says, here it is. Democratic ballot. And then the other one says Democratic crossover ballot. So here's what you have to do. You have to go in and take your NPB ballot, if you're one of the 4 million who got that ballot without any of the presidential candidates. And we know most of you want to vote in the Democratic primary, according to the polls in California. Take in your NPP ballot, include the envelope, and ask for the Democratic crossover ballot. Now, here's the weird thing, Tom. According to Secretary of State Padilla, the word has gone out to all poll workers that unless you know the magic word crossover ballot, they can't give you the crossover ballot. They can't give you the Democratic Party ballot.
So you need to say the magic word. You need to say crossover ballot. You need to have, and here, Greg himself reminds you again, which again, shout out to Greg Palast and all the amazing work that he's done. And that video, by the way, that video earlier was sent to me directly and used by permission. If anyone at Google has any issues, by the way. Spread the word. If you're a California independent, no party preference, MPP voter, and you want to vote in the Democratic presidential primary, you must know the magic word crossover. And you must bring your ballot with you. You must have the envelope, and you must say Democratic crossover ballot. Otherwise, they ain't going to let you vote. They ain't going to let you vote for president. And I voted already. I voted yesterday, and there have been reports of a couple polling places, one particular that was in a heavy Latinx community where all of the machines were down. Remember how we told you they were going to have new machines that have never been tested before? Well, they're doing that, and it ain't going so great. So there was a polling place where all of the machines were down, and they were handing people provisional ballots. The machines are down. Here's a provisional ballot. A lot of people just left. And do not accept that provisional ballot. Here's a tweet from Fiorella Isabella that I think sums it up quite nicely. Fee from the Convo Couch. Alert, do not accept provisionals. Absolutely not. If you're registered, have a screenshot, have your registration receipt, bring ID, ask to speak to a supervisor, pull it up on your phone. Do not accept one. It's a pink slip. There were millions not counted in 2016. Seriously. And she's 110% right. So where I was at yesterday, by the way, half of the machines were not working. Half of them were working, half of them weren't. Several of the people in line with me, this was the second or third place they had been to that day to try to vote. One of the women, a couple spots in front of me, was saying that this was the third place she's been to. The other places she had been to, the machines were completely down. I don't know if they gave her a provisional ballot or not. I'm not sure what her experience was in there. I was just kind of overhearing what she was saying. But she had to go to multiple different places to get machines that were working. And you don't get a receipt with these new machines. You don't get a receipt. So, it's crazy. I live in in my neighborhood in Pasadena. They do all the American Got Talent auditions, which I've not gotten a phone call, by the way. I'm surprised. I'm sure you are too. But they do all the America's Got Talent auditions and what have you. And I walked by it on my way to a polling place yesterday. Like, I was going to my polling place to vote, and I walked by the line for America's Got Talent. And I thought, man, and I'm not sure if they vote in America's Got Talent or not. I'm guessing they do. I don't watch any of those shows, but I know in some of them they vote, like some of the talent competitions, you vote for the winner. And they have a more secure voting process than our elections do. This game show has a more secure process than our actual elections do. And that's just the truth. So that's what we're up against. That is what we're up against. And, so there you see how they can potentially screw Bernie out of possibly 500,000 votes. And, Greg Palast was fair in his analysis. He's saying, hey, Bloomberg could suffer from this too, which, Bloomberg will have to buy those votes back. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and